Welcome to my very short introduction to PowerPoint. So let me share my desktop. We're going to start a new one, and I'll also show you an old one. So you can choose from different options they have here. I recommend starting with a blank presentation. And in the blank presentation, you usually want to pick some design to go with. So there's all kinds of different designs here. Click on them. It will show you what they look like. And what the design is background graphics and text, colors and sizes and fonts that look good together. You can create your own. There's usually variants on each one. Or you can just pick one of the preset ones. And there's more down on the list here, and you can browse for themes online, or you can make your own by putting in background graphics and choosing certain text colors that work well together. And the big thing there is you want colors that contrast well. So if this purple over here, where it said click here to add subtitle, was any a darker purple, then I would have a problem reading it. And if I tried to insert a certain color text, it might not look well on a certain screen. So I have to double check, does the text in the background contrast well? Otherwise, PowerPoint's pretty straightforward. Just put stuff in where you want it. So if you click to add something, you click to add something. You'll continue to add new slides. You can do that from the home screen or from the insert tab ribbon. And you have all kinds of default slides you can add. You can put a blank slide in and put your own individual items in there, or you can get one of the default title with content kinds of slides. So I'm going to show you just a couple of examples of my use of these and some other things you do in PowerPoint. So we're going to take a look at a different presentation. This one here. So PowerPoint is the program that I love to hate. A lot of people use it for presentations, and most people don't do a good job with it because they violate some basic rules. Those basic rules are listed on our course website. With any PowerPoint presentation, you want to keep it simple. The PowerPoint presentation is not your presentation. You are your presentation usually, and it just can augment what you're doing. So you want to use it in a way that does that by keeping to main points, not putting a lot of text. You always want to have good spelling. You don't want to overload a slide with too much crap. You definitely want to use fonts carefully. You should know your equipment, and then what is the purpose of the presentation. The problem with PowerPoint and other presentation programs is that they have all these bells and whistles, and they can often be a problem. PowerPoint isn't the only presentation graphics program out there. There are lots of others. So for example, here is a presentation program called Impress from LibreOffice or OpenOffice. It works much the same way. Does almost all the same stuff. And so I use Impress once in a while, if I use a presentation at all. I prefer not to use this kind of software because it can be very dangerous. Back to PowerPoint. Slides can consist of text and images. And so different aspects of PowerPoint that we'll look at right here are text and lists, images, videos, transitions, animations. I'm not going to get to timing, but I am going to reference bad stuff. I'll get to timing next time. So this is a bulleted list, which is part of one of the basic slides you can insert, title and content. Here is a title with two content areas, and text boxes can be placed anywhere you want. You can grab them and move them. They can be rotated. As far as enlarging, you can enlarge the box stuff is in, but to enlarge the stuff, you basically have to choose a bigger font. You can put things in as just paragraph text. You can use bulleted lists. You can also use numbered lists. So here's some other examples of presentation graphics programs, PowerPoint, Impress. I just showed you Keynote's a popular one for Mac, Prezi, Powtoon, and there's tons of others out there. A lot of great online ones like Powtoon that you can mess around with. And again, text boxes can be picked up and moved. You can resize the text. You can indent. You have bulleted lists, and that changes the size and shape of the bullet. So you can do a hierarchy kind of effect, and each presentation design comes with a set of bullets. So if I were to change the theme, the design of this one, I would put a slightly different set of bullets, fonts, and colors. Images likewise can be inserted easily. Insert picture. You can copy and paste images, and you can add effects to those. So for example, there are some here in this slide. You can preview those animations. So an animation is when an individual part of a slide does something funky. Moves, slides in, slides out. So you can do entrance effects, you can do emphasis effects, you can do exit effects, you can do multiple effects on a single object, and they're usually numbered in the order that they appear, and you can mess around with that order. We'll save that for later. If I were to run the slideshow using a click of the mouse or the space bar, makes each part of that happen in sequence. So those are animations. When something happens from slide to slide, like one slide wiping over another, or fading to another, or falling over to another, those are called transitions. And so your presentation should have at least one animation and at least one transition, and definitely have fun with them. But when I'm giving a talk, those things can be very distracting, and so people will be too busy looking at things happening as opposed to, hearing what's going on. So you always want to be careful with that. You can insert videos from YouTube, pretty straightforward. I'll show you that in a moment. And you can insert your own videos that you have, which is pretty cool. Videos and images are what are called embedded in the slideshow, which means when you move the slideshow elsewhere, you don't need to have a separate copy of them to go with them. For example, zipped up in a folder. So if I save this presentation and email it to myself, I can then view it with the videos and images on any other program that has any other computer that has PowerPoint. All right, that's my brief introduction. I'm going to stop there. There's lots of buttons to play around with. I'll do that on my next presentation. So have a good day. Get some sun while you can.